Welcome to our corner where we talk about the Streets of Avalon role-playing game. I'm Chris,
And I'm Brett.
and today we're going to talk about the guild system and their role in the setting. So, we're talking about guilds and what they are, what role they play, and what they do all around. And there's tons of them because it's a city. So,
Yeah, there's a
Brett,
shit
get into
ton
it.
of them.
Yeah, Brett,
So-
I love this part of the game, by the way. I love these guilds. They're great.
So, a buddy of mine back in the day when I was first thinking about developing it, Jay Plata, Jay got a hold of me whereas we're working on stuff, and he said, "Hey, what you're describing to me feels like kind of that Renaissance-y rise of the guilds. There's a group of people all over the place. Boy, that's really cool. You should have a lot of guilds." So I'm like, "Hey, Jay, that's a damn good idea." So I started cranking on that, and I thought, there are so many. And I grabbed, read through some of my old Lonkmar books by Fritz Leiber, and I'm like, oh man, the guilds, the just volume of stuff. And I thought, in a city like this where people are banding together to better themselves, better their income, protect themselves, and so forth, it makes sense that you're going to form up, right?
Yeah.
People form into gangs, mafias, and so on. And these types of guilds are like, look, we need to protect our interests and, make sure that there's quality work. If the Carpenters Guild does something and it goes poorly, that's not good for them. They need to make sure that there's a quality level. The Masons and all that stuff. They need to make sure that stuff's working right. The other thing, of course, is as I was reminded, rereading an old Discworld book, is if you're gonna have crime, it might as well be organized. So, which. When we talk, one of my favorite guilds that I had is the Brotherhood of Sanitary Excavators. These are the men and women that take care of the sewers. The river Styx flows beneath Avalon, and they make sure that it flows where it needs to. Fresh water wells, garbage dumps, all that stuff is dealt with. They raise otyugs to help them keep things flowing. They also deal with the alligators in the sewers, which can be a problem sometimes.
To me, they're one of the most important guilds in the city because without them, then the sewers stop working and disease runs rampant.
Exactly. Which is also one of the reasons why the leadership of the Brotherhood of Sanitary Excavators is not any magistrate house. Various magistrate houses have tried over the decades to hey, grab onto, put under thumb, because the Brotherhood of Sanitary Excavators knows most of what goes on underneath the city.
This sounds like a future folio that we have to put together, like a little 4-page PDF for people to blow out what the
Yes.
Brotherhood of Sanitary Excavators are, who's in charge, how they kind of work.
Yeah, so if you want to, talk about the people who know where all the underground ancient passages are that go underneath your house, they'd probably be them. They probably don't want to get them on your bad side and so forth. And if you don't acquiesce to their request, sometimes you don't get clean water, right? This is a problem.
That seems bad.
In a major city, So they keep to themselves and they take care of themselves. They're damn good at it. They also are a major employer, because they need masons, they need carpenters, they need mercenaries to come down and help deal with kobolds, goblins, giant rats, other problems, right?
My assumption
slime.
My assumption is they could do some of this stuff, but when the problem gets too big, then they have to go hire out, right? They're like your regular tier 1 maintenance guy that can go and fix a thing if they need to. I could patch this brick or two, but if this wall's crumbling, man, we got to go hire the masons to fix this problem.
Yeah, exactly. So the other piece is when something collapses and it's a major piece, a major excavation has to occur or something like that, they need help. There's a lot of work to be done. And if the if the longshoremen and some of the other folks down there are trying to move stuff, perhaps through waterways and spillways that aren't well known or supposed to be closed, maybe there's some coin to be made there. But
because we're not super concerned with law, because law is made by the people that have all the money and all the power. And the Brotherhood of Sanitary Excavators use some extra coin, and they got a bunch of power themselves.
Exactly. But they've got to be smart, and they have to play it as such, right? They're sticklers for their rules and their organization, and they treat their members very, very well. And people also know that it is a shitty job. You treat these folks well. They often get credit where other people don't get credit, which can lead to people like one of my favorite NPCs used to be a PC, Muddy Joe, who has a horrible gambling problem. But these are folks that know a lot of different things and places. And now that is a guild that honestly, like the Carpenters and the Masons, it's kind of that basic guild that keeps the city humming, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're building stuff, they're repairing things, they're making sure that people have coal, they have wood, they have food, right? Tanner's Guild products.
The list of guilds will be in at least the Ash Can version of the book for sure.
It's insane. as a game master, one of the things I love about having guilds is I can choose any two guilds can hate each other at any given point. So I've got some wonderful tension. I got ways to have people going back and forth at each other. You can have one of my other favorite guilds, the Moneylenders Guild. So money lending, guild, power, corruption, money, obviously, right?
And we've already since they're the Moneylenders Guild, they're probably associated with the Church of Hermes, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, just a
'Cause
touch.
since they run the Hermes Church runs a
Yes,
lot of the banks and stuff, which
they
means they're
do.
all under the House of Eckert.
Yes, the Eckarts are very, very wealthy and very powerful. So when the Moneylenders Guild decides they're going to squeeze the local baker, they're going to squeeze the blacksmith who took out a loan, can't quite pay it back because business is down. The sailmaker, hey, it's not my fault, Winter, and I had a bad run of business and a fire, and hey, what are you going to do? Some of these folks run protection rackets, right? It'd be a shame if something were to, light this inflammable building, right? It happens.
Yeah.
But the Moneylenders Guild, so they're a great one when the players get real down and they need something, or the Moneylenders Guild can come in and say, "Hey, I need you to go squeeze this person for me." Right? We've got a problem. I need you to go take care of this. If your characters have a bend in that direction.
Yeah, if you wanted to have a game that was all surrounding like House Eckert, that's the beginning low end of the totem pole endpoint, right?
Correct. If you want to get into higher up into that family's good graces, you want to work your way into that money end of organized crime, that's a really good way to go.
You just
starting
become
starting there.
troubleshooters for them. Yeah,
Leg
troubleshooters for them.
breakers, troubleshooters, all that stuff. But as such, because 99 times out of 100, whenever I run Avalon, people are like, I fucking hate those guys, which is fine. But they become great foils, like to just pester your players. They're renting, doing fine. They've got a room to stay, and then Matron Mary, the lady who owns your building, comes sobbing up to you like, "Oh, the money lenders, I've been trying my best. Oh, good Lord. Now we got to try to pay off her debt. Oh, good grief." And sometimes those guilds, like the Moneylenders Guild, is this minor in the grander scheme of your plot thing that's going on. That's real life. It's happening. Somebody owes money to somebody. Somebody needs some help. I need a favor. I would totally get you the thing you need. However, I can't because I got to make these 16 deliveries or the moneylenders are going to break my knees. Oh, you run the deliveries? It's you can get side questy like that and so on. There's a
You
lot
know
of
what
stuff
the
you can do with them.
you know what the wild thing is about that? I mean, this stuff is just written down on paper, like these records and whatnot. If you just go in and like steal some of that stuff and maybe eliminate the few people that know about you, then you stop having debt.
Exactly. But then when certain people who know about you aren't reporting up, and then the hires in the guild like, hey, the take from this neighborhood seems low. What's going on? What do you mean? What do you mean old Henry isn't there anymore? Well, get Mary in here. What's going on with that? What do you mean Cutter's in town? Ah, damn it.
Then you got
It
people
gets
looking
ugly.
into it, and
Yeah,
be a problem as long as so it's just about doing it quietly. How good are you at being quiet?
exactly.
How good are
Very
you at
quiet.
your job?
And covering your tracks, right?
Yeah.
You've got Order of Apothecaries, the Grimhagen family. One of the magistrates runs those folks. The Avalon has I call them street alchemists. They have little push carts. Sometimes they have a shop. There's an alchemy shop, or oftentimes they have a little shop where they brew whatever the hell it is, whatever snake oil or potentially realistic stuff they're making, put it in their cart, and then wheel it around the neighborhood trying to sell cures for anything and everything: male pattern baldness, erectile dysfunction. You're wounded, you drink some of this. You got the disease, you try this. Oh, you got the bleeding tooth. Oh, here, try this. That'll help you solve that problem.
It is in fact the subject, or at least the starting point of one of the example scenarios that'll be in the book. It's just hilarious. I love it.
One of the cool things about someone like that with the apothecaries and people who are out selling stuff. So if you think about your blacksmiths, even your carpenters, the Order of Apothecaries, again, similar to the Brotherhood of Sanitary Excavators, these men and women know a lot of people in the neighborhood because the only reason they're here is because there's business to be done here.
Yeah.
They're
Makes
drumming up
sense.
business, they're doing work for people, and so on. And they hear stuff. The Order of Apothecaries is wonderful because their little street alchemists hear everything. Someone comes up on the side and says, "Hey, we haven't been able to, have a baby yet. Could you kind of make sure Oh, this is a problem. This is one of the wealthier families in the neighborhood. They're having marital issues. Interesting. Is it really this? Is it really that? So and so has a cough. How bad is that cough? Well, they've been buying some pretty strong, Red Lotus juice. to try to ease that cough. Why are they doing that? Is there a problem? Is there a plague? These are men and women who know stuff. They're selling things. So if you go to your local pharmacy and talk to an unscrupulous person, hey, who has warts? You know, who came in asking for this cream, right? These are potentially unscrupulous or scrupulous people. And they're also really, again, they know stuff. They know stuff about people, places, and things. They know what's going on in the area. And they're here because there's business here. And they're here to thrive and to try to make the neighborhood better, sometimes maybe just better for themselves, right? Make their own business grow a little bit.
Well, look, man, if the neighborhood has got more money in it and it's better off and they have more money to spend, that just makes sense business-wise.
Exactly. So sometimes, like right now in my current Avalon game that I've got going on, my son has an ability. He's really good at mending stuff. His character is really good at mending stuff. So he's going through and help people fix things. Just small stuff. Just small things. And the rest of the guys drummed out an obnoxious bunch of just thug thieves, eliminated that guild completely. They were just a bunch of renegade punk ass bitches. And they're like, that's it. We're done with you all. Drummed them out, killed a bunch of them, cleaned it up. They are well known in the neighborhood now. They get deals when they go to talk to the neighborhood apothecary. When they want to go talk to the little alchemist, they get a deal.
Yeah,
I like you. That. You did good work.
Yeah,
right?
Makes sense.
If you're not doing good work, everybody talks. Everybody knows who's not doing good work.
Just write it down as a tag for the group, right? If you want to be able to remind yourself. Just a note, really.
So one of the popular things, of course, in your fantasy game is your Thieves Guild.
Right? Love me a Thieves Guild. Love me a Thieves Guild.
My favorite, the largest one I have are the masks, and the masks operate ostensibly throughout all of Avalon. Right? There's always your smaller pockets of guilds bucking the system, doing the best they can. The masks are, of course, so named because the leaders of the guild all wear masks in their meetings, so nobody knows who anybody is. So that's always cool and kind of edgy. A little gothy of them, of course.
Like you should be when you are in a fantasy city, right?
Exactly. They are, no bones about it, they are an organized crime unit.
Is the mob.
This is absolutely the mob. This is the top dog. Now, within a large city like this, they can't possibly keep track of every neighborhood and every group. What they will do is they will take a tithe from you. Like, that's okay. You can operate here. Here's a marker. You hang onto this thing, and we call it in. You do us a favor. Or, hey, you know what? You give me 10%. You do what you got to do in your neighborhood, and that's fine.
Yeah, it's just like
the take is a little low. What take's a little low this week? What's going on with that? You know,
it's just like a spider web, right? Just coming out from these top people that are working together that wear the masks in the meetings, right? Then after that, it's just like kind of like goes out into the city. I love me a good mask. Like what do they call them? A mask shift, right?
Yes. Well, the cool things about the Thieves Guild concept within Avalon for me is that it's not just about like go steal people's shit constantly. I love the way the Thieves Guild in Lankamar works. Fritz Leiber's rules. They would there's an example, and one of the second time you read all of them, where Fafra the Mauser meet in Ilmet in Lankamar's the story, and they're scoping out these two thieves who just broke into Jengao's house. And Jengao, I believe, is the guy, and they slugged him, killed his leopard, took all these gems, but not all of his gems. They got to leave him just enough so we can build the business back up and ripen it for another plucking. Because do not kill the goose that lays the egg. Right?
That's right.
Don't do that. So these are professional thieves. Thuggery, leg breaking, and so on and so forth. That's not their jam. That's not what they're into. Yeah, maybe down the line they've got a little bit of that. But generally speaking, the masks are all about, maintaining the power, the control, spies, who knows what about whom, selling information from one magistrate family to another, finding out which noble family might be on the rise, what's going on at the Church of Poseidon. Are they really rivals with the Bargeman's temple? Is there something going on over here? Do we need to instigate unrest? Magistrates may get a hold of them, call them to a meeting. We need a problem solved. Could you cause a riot?
So I imagine
they've got power.
Yeah, so I imagine, and the way that I've used them in the games that I've run too, is aside from being they're one of their primary ways to make money and is in secrets and information. And then to me, their second one is they don't steal from poor people.
No,
because that is the purview of pickpockets and the beggars guild, because those things exist too.
Yes.
So they usually they'll hit merchants. They will probably hit minor nobles. People in that
This is
range.
breaking and entering. This is
Yeah.
breaking and entering. This is grand theft. This is a heist, a big ass event.
Yeah, they'll hit tailors and things like that are like above that I'm super poor category. They're looking to hit the middle class essentially.
Correct. Absolutely. And when it comes to, something bad has to happen, the thieves they're not about murder. They don't want that rep.
And that's what they have the knives for, right?
Exactly. The knives are often known as the knives of the magistrates. They're an assassin's guild. Their job is murder the fuck out of people. Pay me the money. Show me the money. Tell me who it is. Give me a date, a timeline, and whatnot. And if we agree, we'll go kill them.
That's the thing.
Yeah. The knives will hire out as bravos to go aid and assist, if you need some help or a little bit of muscle. They've got low end people in the ranks for that. They've got that guy and gal who are kind of up and coming. She's doing pretty well, bit of a thug. Let's give them a chance to see if they've got any style, little panache.
Mm-hmm.
These are skillful assassins, and they're not the ones to thump you in the street, beat you to death, take your boots. That's not their job.
No, man, they'll murder you and pin it on somebody else.
Exactly. They need to. The results need to be seen, but not them. That's the job.
Yeah. I love it.
I've used a calling card sometimes of a silver dagger. I've done that for a little bit. Depended on the story I was running at the time. That local of the Knives Guild had a calling card, and you could have a lot of fun with that sometimes. Or a assassin has you could be as goth as a white rose or a black rose or some kind of a flower, a lotus petal, something. You can have fun with that. The other thing that the knives I've used for is approaching the characters and saying that they need something taken care of.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, because they went to go do a thing, and they're like, look, to take care of our target, we need somebody to go do this other thing. We're a distraction? Yes, you're a distraction. And here's a big stack of coins. You will be a very well-paid distraction, but you're a distraction.
Here's 50 silver. Go do the thing.
Go do the thing. They need help, too.
It's like $500, by the way.
Exactly. That's a lot.
Yeah. So my favorite use of the guilds, for my money anyway, in this game is I love when I'm session zeroing it up and I kind of know basically what my campaign is going to be about. I know which guilds are going to be prominently involved. And I'm like, look, these are the guilds that are going to be sort of involved. If you want to have your characters attached to them in some way when we start play, that will help things move along much better. For instance, the House Corbin and the Clockmakers Guild. Mm-hmm. I had somebody who was a tinkerer that wanted to be into like clockwork and making stuff like that. So I had them associate with one of the families that is under the Corbins because the Corbins are going to be a major part of it. And it works really well into drawing and tying characters into the what's going on of your campaigns and your situations in your games. It's really good functionality there with the guilds.
And if you want to take a crack at kind of white collar crime, right? Is that you could jack it up in a neighborhood still, where you have characters who are members or hired by a guild to go do a guild business, take care of something, help them
investigate thefts,
find out who lit the wood store on fire. And now the Carpenters Guild is low on timber.
Investigate
who did this, who
investigate
did that.
arsons, investigate whatever. Really, pick a crime. I
had characters at one point. I had one person who was really big on their and it's actually happening again in my current campaign where they are like, we're thinking of making a Thieves Guild, not a big one, just enough to cover this neighborhood, just enough so we can control what's going on. They're starting off thinking that it's going to be, we'll be good thieves. I'm like, yeah, that won't last.
That won't last. No.
That won't last. It's funny. Once you get a taste of the money, it won't do it. But sometimes you can get it. So you're like, look, I got in really good. My character was a blacksmith. I've been doing really well. I've been bringing this money back to my father, who still runs the smithy. Boy, it'd be great if I could get my dad into the guild, like in the guild, where he didn't have to work all the time. Could I get him in there? Whose palm do I have to grease in the blacksmith's guild so that mom or dad doesn't have to swing a hammer anymore?
I mean, that's a really fun little story arc that somebody could go on to and be like, all right, well, here's what you need to do to get your dad into the blacksmith's guild, or yourself, your family into the blacksmith's guild.
So one of the first games you and I played, your character had, I forgot his name.
Vassar Vim.
Yes. So Vassar's mom owned a bar.
Yep.
Right? So depending what goes or how that story could have or would have gone, there were winemakers, brewers guilds, all sorts of things you maybe could have had to deal with or become leaders thereof. I mean, there's leadership potential. We could join into the guild or aligning, just raw alignment with a guild to help try to apply pressure somewhere else.
Storytellers Guild, if your place becomes a prominent place for performers to be.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Plus, Vassar was a low-level member of the Masks at one point too.
He was indeed.
Yeah, so you get a lot of crossover with stuff like that. It's a really good vehicle for storytelling in a city because cities, as we talked about before, are all about factions, a la your vampires and things like that. Just, this is how the factions work in this fantasy city.
I've also had plenty of characters say, "I bet you there's a guild for X."
And there is.
And my buddy Lenny would look at me and go, "There's always a fucking guild." He said, "There's always a guild."
There is.
There is. Is there a rope makers guild? You're goddamn right. There's a rope makers guild.
Certainly
By
is.
Lord, there is. Yeah. So
people have to make that stuff by hand, man. Yeah. That's a lot of work.
I did not realize I had a map making guild.
There is. I know, right?
Until at one point, my players needed a map. Alpha said to me, he goes, "There has to be a guild of map makers. It only makes sense."
I mean, we're going to provide a number of guilds that people can utilize in their games for creating scenarios and situations and stories. But there is more than we can think of, right? Like if you need one for yourself, you can just invent it. In fact, we probably will have to put together a little short folio in the future about how to do that, and we'll get around to it eventually.
I'm waiting at some point someone will bring up in a game like, "Hey, is there a guild for?" And I'm going to say, "No, there's not. Are you interested?" I'm waiting. At some point, that's going to strike me. I'm like, maybe we're building a guild. Maybe that's going to be a thing. You're going to carve out your little chunk, see what you can do.
It's a fun game, right? Like, there you go.
A good time.
Then you just build a bunch of stuff around that.
So it's like, it's not there to make Avalon overly complex. Like, oh, geez, I got to list 1,000 guilds for every neighborhood. No. You don't need all of that.
Yeah, and
it's the main things, the main players, the stuff you want to do.
And if you're ever wondering why a guild doesn't like get involved with the thing like earlier than you think they should have, it's just the city's huge. Not everybody can pay attention to everything all the time.
Correct.
And when you think of it, is probably when they thought of it.
Yeah, you've got 2 blacksmiths in town. Maul and Mary goes and wants.
And by town, you mean the neighborhood?
Yeah, the neighborhood. Maul and Mary wants to go to buy a sword. Goes to her favorite one, and that blacksmith is dead. They go find the other blacksmith. I didn't know what happened. I got to tell the guild. Okay, and the guild's like, "Oh, that sucks. Go find a replacement." Or maybe they care. Who knows? Maybe that person was in bad standing with the guild. There's all sorts of things. Like I said, it's color, it's flavor. Like we talk about with NPCs and such. When you talk about like goals, and you have somebody. One goal and thing I come up with often for NPCs is: do they care about the guild that they belong to or should belong to? Are they adversarial to it? Or do they hate a certain guild for X reason?
I mean, reference the NPC stuff for this too.
Yes,
like, guilds have motivations and wants too, and some of them even have like personality quirks that are associated with the guild across the guild for the most part. We're talking about like neighborhoods have a kind of feel and tone to them, like as far as the people that live there. Noble houses and the noble styles or whatever for the season have that feel. Guilds are no different. They all kind of function similarly.
Yeah, you can't tell me the Actors Guild is full of people who all love each other. It just doesn't work.
No way. That wouldn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe one troop has that, like, we all really get along because we like working together, but all you need is that rival guild that is like, man, we would kill each other in a second if we could, but we need to work together to survive.
Yeah, some bands are like Rush and others are like the Police. It takes what it takes.
I think that's pretty good on guilds, right?
Yeah, man, that was good stuff. Thank you.
Well, thank you. No, thank you.
And also,
thank you for listening to Under the Lamplight, the Streets of Avalon role-playing game podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe on YouTube. You can pick up the playtest version of the game, which I've done my best to give a slightly nicer layout with some art at polygamero.us. The link is below. And we'll see you under the lamplight next week.